Good afternoon, Zinger Nation. My name is Logan Ross, and this is Moon or Bust, your home for all things crypto at Benzinga. Got Ryan here with me today. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy Mutant Monday as always, Logan. How are you?
I am doing well on this fine Mutant Monday. There's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We will get to all of it, hopefully, but I'm curious to know how you guys are doing out there in the chat. How is Zinger Nation feeling? Let us know in the chat down below. Drop your questions, comments, concerns, and your favorite style of mustard, and we'll get on with today's show. Ryan, what do we have planned?
I think it's fair to say that we will be pushing P today, Logan. We'll be talking about Polkadot. We're going to be talking about Pixelmon, and we'll be talking to Parallel Finance. So I'm really excited for that interview at 2:30. But before that, we're going to give you guys a rundown on Polkadot's ecosystem and talking about potentially the worst NFT to be released to date. Really historical and groundbreaking stuff.
Man, it's gotten to the point where the worst NFTs in this collection, the ugliest looking ones, are actually the most desirable and the most collectible. And if that's not a sign of some sort of shift in the market to come, I don't know what is. But let us know what you guys are thinking. As always, make sure to follow us on Twitter. Links down in the description below. Hit us up, send us a DM. We'd love to chat with you. And if you're an OG Moon or Bust fan, make sure that we know if we don't already. I want to say what's up to all the OGs who are out there in the chat. We got Brian Blockchain, and back stateside for the first time in a while, we got Zolty. Hope you're doing well, man. Welcome back. So glad to have you here in the office again. But Ryan, should we just dive into the charts? Did I forget anything?
Nah, let's do it.
All right. So first off, let's take a look at the Bitcoin. So I have a screen share. Boom. All right. Can you see it?
Yep.
How are we looking?
We are looking quite good. We really took off today from $30,000 range all the way up to $41,000. What do you make of this chart, Logan?
It's good. I'm excited, but I'm not, too confident that we are entirely out of the woods yet. There's still a lot of uncertainty going on in the world, if that wasn't clear already. So, we ripped like this. I'm going to take a little bit of profits off the table, watch, see what happens. How about you, Ryan? What are you doing on this fine afternoon?
I am zooming out. I am not doing anything. I think it's pretty indecisive at this point. Yeah, we did rip today, and it does look pretty good on the daily candles, but I'm still not doing anything. I'm a macro investor, so I will not be taking any profits. Won't be buying here either, though.
So what type of macro trends are you looking at on a day like today instead?
So we're always watching that bull market support band that we have there, the 20-week SMA and 21-week EMA. I'm waiting to get back up to that level. Something else interesting is support is now at $20,000. I think it's for the 200-day moving average. It might be for the 300-day, Logan. I'm not sure if you saw that, but we did cross $20,000. So now I'm thinking worst case scenario, if we are in a long-term bear market, I don't see Bitcoin dropping below $20,000.
There we go. That is what I like to hear. Everybody who bought the top in 2018, congratulations. You're not going to lose all your money, hopefully. All right, let's take a look at the Ether. Same type of situation going on over here. Not really anything notable between the two that I've picked up on. Ryan, how about yourself?
No, it looks like that resistance line you drew got broken right through. Unfortunately, it looks like we might have to move that line up now.
Hey, I mean, it's happened before, but it hasn't held. So maybe this line is still an indicator of things to come.
Fair.
All right. Nothing too interesting over there. Let's take a look at CoinMarketCap. I want to pull up the coins that you guys have your eyes on. So, Ryan, are you able to look at the chat for me? Yeah. Let's see what's moving today. Solana, Harmony, and Bitcoin are trending. That is not what I'm used to seeing. Usually there's a couple e-news in the top 3 trending coins, but we have Solana up 10% on the day. Harmony up 1% on the day, down 20% on the month. But Bitcoin is, kind of setting the standard 0.5% on the day. Anything absurd that catches your eye here, Ryan? Zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah, that helps.
I'm not seeing anything too crazy.
I've never heard of Ecomi. They're the 30th largest cryptocurrency now.
This is not by market cap. This is the trending page.
Is it still the 30th largest, though?
I don't think so. It is the 200th.
Okay. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. All right. Can you see the chat, Ryan?
Yep, I'm not seeing too much. Patrick Starr wanted us to go over Axie. I know he's a big Axie player. Helped you out when we were playing. What's Axie been up to? $50. We're green today. It's looking all right, but we were up to like $150 at its peak. Has not been sustained. Do you think we could see those all-time highs again this year, Logan? Do you think we have a long ways to go? What's up with Axie Infinity?
That's a good question. I'm going to take the price chart off for a second, and maybe we can just chat about it a little bit. So I think with Axie, they're pushing out a lot of new updates. A lot of cool new stuff appears to be coming on their end. So say that they deliver on all those things. I don't see a reason why it couldn't hit a new all-time high. I mean, Axie is I think the most profitable NFT game, or like the highest volume NFT project. So I'd look for that to continue as long as they can continue to dominate continue their domination in the play to earn space, right? We're also going to see a lot of new market entrants this year, so that's kind of the other side of the argument is maybe we'll see Axie lose that market share and it will never ever get to the speculative top that it got to, just in the past year. What do you think?
Yeah, there's no doubt that Axie Infinity is the largest NFT game right now on Ethereum. I think there is a lot of potential for it in 2022. We see a focus on these NFT games, these play-to-earn games, but the price of the token really is kind of up to Axie Infinity. They've changed their token dynamics several times, so it really comes down to what the value of SLP is, what the value of Axie is, and the dynamics of the ecosystem that they're creating. So it'll be interesting to follow along, but I can't really make a prediction on the token right now. It's really in the hands of the developers at this point. They do have a super solid user base, which I think is really strong, a very bullish signal. But like I said, I can't really make any predictions on it right now. I think that it is in the hands of developers.
Devs, please do something. And speaking of devs doing something or nothing, there was a pretty crazy NFT project release called Pixelmon, happened over this weekend, and if you are on Twitter, I'm sure you have seen the memes. The Pixelmon memes are going crazy. If you've seen them, smash the like right now. Let us know if you're already hip. We're going to take a look at them and do a meme review in just a second, but one thing first, I want to warm us up. Antonio Brown meme. Gonna share my screen real quick so you guys can hear it. It's pretty funny. All right, Bored Punks NFT. This is like pretty cliche, pretty derivative. Bored Apes, Crypto Punks. Why not just throw them together and have Antonio Brown promote it? This is what this project did, and here's how it turned out.
Check out Bored Punk NFT. Really cool characters.
Swaggy looks.
100 discords.
100 discords.
100,000 discords.
100,000 discords.
That's way more than 100.
So many discords.
100K. Sign up.
Sign up. Ryan, are you going to be signing up for one of these 100,000 discords?
I will not be signing up. I think all 100,000 of those discords have been taken, unfortunately. Probably pretty hard to get a whitelist spot. But even if I got a whitelist spot, I wouldn't be minting at this point. Can't really trust those projects that have these big celebrity endorsements. Doesn't seem very organic. And it's a derivative of a derivative project. I mean, Bored Punks, get more creative, and then maybe I'll buy your NFT.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Mexican Crypt. I am just as confused as you are. Which Discord link do I join? There's 100,000 of them, but at least they got swaggy looks, right? That's the main selling point, I think, for this project. Man, I wonder what the team thought when they paid Antonio Brown probably 50 or 100 bands to get this promo video. They get it back, and he has no clue what he's talking about.
They'll take what they can get, I guess. That's what it seems like.
Oh, man. Is this a top signal or a bottom signal?
Too early to tell.
Too early to tell. Indeed. All right, let's get over to those Pixelmon memes. If you guys are excited for the Pixelmon memes, smash the like button and send this to your goldfish. Goldfish have to make money too. They trade crypto too. Don't discriminate. It's 2022. All right, meme time. Let's get it going. Share my screen once again. It sucks that if I want to share audio, I have to go to like select the new tab to share every single time. Devs, please do something. But okay, so here's the meme. Ryan, will you read it for us?
Baby, you didn't $9,000 out of your bank account yesterday? Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, it is.
And the funny part is this NFT here, this little guy, this Pixelmon, Kevin, dubbed Kevin, is probably one of the most expensive in the collection. I was browsing through OpenSea today. I saw some of the previous sales, and they were like $15,000 to $25,000 for that little guy right there.
Well, let us know what are you guys buying a Kevin? You want Kevin? I would like a Kevin in my collection at this point. It's such a good meme. Good meme for being a bad meme. All right, this layout is not working, so we're gonna go back, give you the full screen memeage. But let's just take a look at the Pixelmon. Ryan, I know you had some other ones linked in the document, but if I'm missing anything in a second, just let me know. So this is basically what the expectation was. This is what they were setting up for. This amazing game with. Oh my god. That's too good. When Ryan, is this is your face when you wear your Bored Ape Yacht Club hoodie to the club and no girls say anything?
There's a lesson to be learned here, right?
What is it, Ryan? Tell me. Tell me what the lesson is.
You need to do your own research before blindlessly investing in an NFT project. You need to make sure these developers know what they're doing, and they're not just going to use some copy and pasted pixel creatures for their project. And at this point, I don't know if they're going to even be releasing a game. I mean, probably not. They did make $70 million, so they have the funds to do so. But last I heard, according to crypto Twitter, the devs took a lot of those funds, bought some Bored Apes, bought some other luxury items. So I will not be holding my breath until this game is created. If I had a bet on it, I would say it probably isn't going to get created.
I mean, they raised $70 million. You could make the game for way less than that. The question is should they have done the reveal? Should they have just like sold them and then waited like 6 months to do the reveal? Or do they just reveal them and say, hey guys, we know these suck, but this will hold you over for the meantime. I mean, it worked. Like, everybody's talking about the project now because of the shitty art release. But the creator also said he regrets it. So, I mean, what's your take, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, they are getting a lot of press right now. I mean, we're talking about it. It's all over Twitter. It's on the news. I mean, it's everywhere. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad play, but they definitely are getting a lot of bad press from it. Seems super underdeveloped. And I think if people were baking on a fun, playable game, they might be questioning themselves now after seeing these creatures.
So we can get ourselves a Kevin for the low price of wait, no, that's an offer. It must have sold 3.7 3 hours ago. Country collector stacking the Pixelmon. Are there any other Kevins? How does this? I haven't even looked at this collection.
Yeah, there are a lot of Kevins. Most of them do sell for over 3 ETH. The floor is like 0.3 ETH. But those are kind of for the lame ones. If you want a silly looking Pixelmon, you're going to have to spend a pretty penny.
Jeez, man. Jeez. I didn't see any of these. These ones have a little bit cooler backgrounds and stuff. Maybe all of them do, and then just when it's in the game it looks bad. Is that the situation here, or is this?
I wouldn't say these look good because of the background.
I'm just trying to give them like the tiniest maybe bit of encouragement. I mean, nobody else out there is doing it.
So what do you think they're going to do with this art? If they're actually going to be creating a play to earn game, are they going to keep this art? I mean, it's so crappy. Like, are they going to upgrade their tokens, do you think? Change the art, change the metadata so it's not as foolish when the actual game comes out?
I suspect that they will. I don't know what else they would do. other than just like cancel the project altogether. So I suspect that they'll, fix it up, update the metadata, and then try to freeze it for, the rest of the time. But I don't know if it's going to pan out anymore. I think that everybody who was hyped about it, I mean, mint price was 3 Ethereum. Mint price was 3 Ethereum. And this is what we got.
That's a red flag right there, though. Are you ever going to be minting an NFT at 3 Ethereum? I mean, Bored Apes were 0.08 Ethereum. CryptoPunks were free. Most of these big projects aren't asking for the moon unless they're already established. So like Mutant Apes were around 3 ETH, but that's more understandable because it is an established brand and it's part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. But yeah, it's usually a red flag to me, at least, seeing any mint that's over 0.25 ETH unless they're promising something big, like the Adidas one. That was pretty expensive. It was at 0.2 ETH, but they were promising Bored Ape merch with that purchase, so that one makes sense. But a lot of these that are over 1 ETH, I mean, too expensive. It just comes off as a cash grab to me.
Most definitely. That was a Dutch auction, or as Mexican Crypt is calling it, a Dutch oven, because most of the investors got burned. All right. On the note of NFTs, on the topic, are there any plays you're looking at this week? Any purchases or sales you have lined up? Or if maybe not, just a general, 2-week outlook on the NFT market through this global turbulence we're
Logan, I'm mad
experiencing?
at you.
Why?
You shilled me the Heart project a couple weeks ago, and I spent 0.6 ETH on my Heart, thought it was really cool. You told me, I was getting a great deal, congratulating me like I did something great with my life by buying one of these JPEGs, and then the floor goes down by 0.5 ETH. I lost all my money, and you were promising that this was going to go to 10 ETH. What happened, Logan? Why is the price floor now 0.25 ETH on the Hearts? Did you do something? Are you selling on me? Am I your exit liquidity? Give me answers.
It's not financial advice, Ryan. I told you this. It's not financial advice.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I assume the risk and I am holding, so I'll accept that answer. I feel like I got in at an okay price point. I mean, the price floor did go up to what was the height of the price
1.5.
1.5. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the one I got was above the floor, maybe by around 50%. So I'm not too scared. I like the team behind it. They're doing some really cool stuff. And obviously the NFT markets are going to be very volatile. So it is to be expected. I never listen to your financial advice without assuming I'm at least going to lose some money. So I took everything with a grain of salt, and I am prepared to lose some more money if need be.
That is the way to do it, Ryan. And if you guys out there are holding the Hearts project or have been following along with us talking about them, we're going to have a dedicated Hearts project episode this Friday. Okay, so set your calendar, set your alarm. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking to Stefan Meyer, the artist behind the project, and maybe Aiden, the creator, will jump on as well. But they have so much crazy stuff that's going on. They're about to introduce a token, complete new ecosystem, websites, basically a social media for the heart holders and the creatives in the community to work together, build together, and it's going to be hopefully a very cool experience overall. I mean, they have the 25 people on their team, and I think that they're going to be pumping out some pretty cool stuff. I met them last week, and we'll have some very, very, very exciting stuff coming out about that project. So, Ryan, I'm sorry for getting you in a little bit too early, but, that's the risks you're taking when you're playing in these speculative markets. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid, and that is the moral of the story here.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's okay. I got my family in at like twice the price, so you're doing great in comparison.
Hey, at least I didn't get those Coinbase calls you told me to get, right?
I'm only down 98% on the Coinbase calls. They will be coming back. I have 2 hours left till expiration, so I'm gonna make it. Don't worry. Just kidding. No, they don't expire. Half of them expire in a month. Half of them expire in 4 months. So, assuming that we're still around then hopefully Coinbase will be more attractive to retail consumers, and they'll have their NFT platform out, and we'll finally have some exit liquidity that we've been waiting for all this time. That will be the day.
Okay, so Logan, we have about 10 minutes until our interview with Parallel Finance, a big application on Polkadot's blockchain. But before we get into that, I think we should do a quick overview on Polkadot for those who may not be super familiar with the project. Lots of promising things coming out from Polkadot. They're like a layer zero is what they call themselves, basically a blockchain of blockchains, a blockchain hub, the internet of blockchains. You've probably heard it before, but Logan, I'm curious to know, what's the history of Polkadot? What are they all about? Can you give us an explanation?
Ryan, I'm going to tell you all about Polkadot, but I need need to get two things off my chest first. First up, shout out to Lord Osh in the chat. Thank you for the 5. Go ahead and drop the OpenSea link or whatever we can do to look it up, and we'll pull it up if we have time. Appreciate you. Second, before I could talk about Polkadot, I need everybody right now to smash the like button, okay? So I'm going to run this song, and when it's over, we'll continue. But this is your cue. Go hit the like button right now. Go double click, exit full screen, scroll down. It's the one with the thumbs up. That's to the left of the one with the thumbs down. You click on that one, you make it blue, and then also just drop a comment. Say hi, say what's up. If you're part of Zinger Nation, let us know. Subscribe to the channel. All right, time's up. So Polkadot. Polkadot is the internet hub of blockchains, right? It was created by Ethereum co-founder Gavin Wood. Gavin Wood created the Ethereum virtual machine and the Solidity programming language. Vitalik was more of the idea guy, the concept behind it, right? So Gavin left the project along with most of the others co-founders because they didn't want to work for a nonprofit, which Vitalik wanted Ethereum to be. So they said, hey, I want to get these bands. I'm going to make my own new spin-off blockchain with smart contracts. So we got, Cardano, which is, so much fun. But then on the other hand, we got some cool projects like Polkadot. So, it's like a hub, and it has limited spots. Or like spokes on the wheel. Kind of think about it like that. These are called parachains. And so there's limited number of parachains. Each parachain has an application, and these parachains bid for one of the slots. These are called slot auctions. They've been going on, and they are still going on. I'm not too sure how many of the spots are filled up right now, but I have to guess it's probably below 20%.
Yep.
And that is a really interesting way of doing it. So by limiting the number of application-specific blockchains that can be plugged into the hub, you automatically, require that these applications provide value to the ecosystem. You have to pay a lot of money to get your application plugged into the chain. And so if it's not profitable, if it's spam, then obviously it's disincentivized. Makes sense to me, Ryan. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we'll get a lot of high quality applications from Polkadot for that reason. It's kind of like Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. We see a lot of scam projects on Binance Smart Chain because it only costs like 50 cents to deploy your own token. Then on Ethereum, it might cost $1,000 in gas fees. So at least there's some kind of filter there. So there's not a bunch of scammy projects on Ethereum. And I think Polkadot will take this one level farther.
Yes, sir. We will see. Only time will tell. What were you about to say, Ryan?
So speaking of Polkadot's ecosystem, Logan, I'm not super familiar with it. Do you know of any of these applications right now that are coming out on Polkadot and what they're doing?
So let's just take a look on the internet because I don't want to mess it up. But let's see. Polkadot parachain auctions. If anybody in the chat knows quicker than I do, please inform us. Otherwise, we will ask our guest later on. But it seems like, okay, parachain.info. Polkadot crowd loans, rewards rating. I'm just going to share my screen so that you can follow along with me. All right. Let's see. Crowd loans on Polkadot.
Got to pull it up.
Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So we have 5 winners so far: Infinity, Composable Finance, Centrifuge, Interlay, and Hydra DX. Equilibrium Node, Litentry, Phala. These are all at the top of the list to try to get the next slot auction. Yeah.
So why are these projects building on Polkadot? Why not just build on Ethereum?
Well, I suppose that they believe in a cross-chain future or a more interoperable ecosystem than Ethereum. Ethereum is very, very general purpose, whereas Polkadot is made to harness more application-specific, limited availability blockchains. So, potentially they have a philosophical reason for building on Polkadot. Alternatively, they have the financial reason for building on Polkadot is that they think they can capture more of the hype surrounding the new DeFi ecosystem and industry that is being funded through Polkadot instead of being funneled through Ethereum. A lot of these applications are similar or have similar types on Ethereum. So, obviously if Polkadot is going to succeed, there's a bunch of money that's already being poured into it. We're going to need applications on that too. Yes, no, maybe so?
I think that makes sense.
Alrighty. Let's see here. What time is it? We have our interview should be starting pretty soon. But let's talk about maybe a couple different parts of the Polkadot ecosystem. So first off, we could talk bridges for a second. Moon River is the big bridge between Ethereum and Polkadot. So this is one that I've had my eyes on for quite a while now, Ryan. I know you're a little bit newer to the Polkadot ecosystem. I'm curious to hear what applications, if any, have struck your fancy so far.
No, I don't have any projects I'm looking at on Polkadot right now. I think there will be some niches that come up on Polkadot that will probably be really good investments. None that I have my eye on right now, but we're in the really, really early stages, right? So there's 100 parachains coming out. We have about like 5 to 10 now. I'm pretty sure at least. So those are all still in development. Some of them have tokens released, some of them don't. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm not invested in any Polkadot projects at the moment. But I will keep my eye on it for sure. We're early on, so there's going to be lots of new opportunities.
Yeah, likewise. It's a bit hard to, I don't think you can, as a U.S. resident, I don't think that you can participate in the crowd loans legally or just as a retail investor. So that's kind of keeping it out of the limelight in the States at least. But I know that a lot of people out there are really excited about them. It's been a cool process to follow along with. I did a panel for the Benzinga Crypto Festival last year, where I talked to some people in the Polkadot ecosystem. I talked to someone from Centrifuge, from Akala, and I think that there was one more. I can't really remember right now. But we will hopefully be talking to Parallel today. And let's not dive into it yet. I don't want to give it all away. I think Yubo will explain it a lot better than I ever could. He seems to be some sort of wicked genius. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel a little underexposed to fungible tokens right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I like have very little ETH left. And when I say very little, I mean very little. So I've listed like a couple of my ENS domains, a couple NFTs for a bit better of deals, just for like a week or 2 weeks or a month. Just went through and listed a bunch of them to see if I can grab some ETH before the Rocketship up that may be coming around the corner. Yeah,
I'd like to get a little more color on the situation, Logan. You think we can pull up OpenSea, maybe look at your profile, see what you're convicted on, what you're holding on to for now, what you're have your eyes on to sell, and we can go from there.
All right, we could do it. I'll hear it. Okay, so let's see. This is my hot wallet.
That's a lot of crypto punks.
Yeah, man, I'm loyal. What can I tell you? Okay, so I listed this, underestimate 1 ETH. I feel like if ENS domains really have the bubble that I expect them to, I'm going to be pissed that I let this go for 1 ETH. But right now, they're not really selling like that, so we'll see. I also listed this for what I feel like is a steal. If I had the ETH liquid, I would consider buying this, I think, if only I could read it. And then this is one of my prized possessions, okay? I'm going to sell this to Coca-Cola and buy an island with the returns, but today only, actually 7 days only, I have it listed for 5 Ethereum. You hear that, Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Anheuser-Busch and all those other big beverage companies out there. Big beverage will get you, and I'll sell you this ENS domain, refreshments.eth. It's refreshing, and it could be your digital brand. Hit me up. All right. I think that Yubo is backstage. Yes, indeed he is. So let's bring him up and get the interview started. Yubo, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, hello. Thank you. Really glad to join the podcast or the interview here.
Yeah, thank you. So a little bit of background, Yubo. You went to Stanford and dropped out. Then you went back to Stanford and dropped out again. Besides dropping out, what are some of your other hobbies?
Dropping in. I love a lot of outdoor activities. Go for hiking, travels, play some sports, games, and I think pretty broad. And I also love science. So sometimes would actually get involved with like a lot of really interesting scientific discussions with fellow friends.
Awesome.
So Yubo, you are a founder and a builder. What are some of your most proud accomplishments you've had?
Yeah, I think probably, well, as a builder, we had built a protocol that had been used by over, half a billion worth of capital with 200,000 users. I think is pretty, it's a great result that I'm pretty happy to see. And then as an investor, I have been supportive for over 40 different portfolios since a very early stage. Some of them, I invested and bring them into the crypto space. And I think that is another really, thing that I'm really proud of because, I'm trying to support like more people to become entrepreneur. I even said that everyone should be a founder at least once in their lifetime, even if it's, could be hard, but I think it's really, it's a journey that really help people understand what they wanted to do and then force them to learn a lot.
Yeah, I love that. Yubo, when did you get into the crypto space or first become interested?
I think it's around 5 years ago, and then that was early 2017. So I got involved as a investor first, and then later on started to build protocols.
Awesome.
And when and why did you decide to create 8 Decimal Capital, and what is 8 Decimal Capital?
So 8 Decimal Capital, it's a blockchain-focused early-stage VC fund. I mean, in 2017, it was early. Not many funds that are specialized in this space. I mean, just a couple. And especially the idea here is to invest into first like younger founders because I started the fund when I was probably 20, 21-ish. So I think relatively speaking, we try to support like younger founders, especially like college dropout. And second of all, try to support like purely crypto native driven company because at that time I was previously working at a traditional VC fund that I only invest into equity. They are really against crypto because of the LP agreements or what have you. And so that was a specialized fund that just to support, sort of initial like stage of, sort of Web3 founders. And we raised over $60 million from family office, institutions, and then we sort of expand the team toward a few partners to invest. So yeah, I think the reason we started with that is because, I think it's technically because I was working in the VC space and also, started another fund with a couple partners before. So I'm kind of directly familiar with the space and then, it's super obvious to launch. And before that, I was the founder to launch a fintech education-based company out of China. And then that was pretty much at the end of the high school time. So I had some background into fintech and understand a bit about crypto before full-time jumping into crypto.
Yubo, starting a huge VC fund at such a young age, were there people out there that doubted you or questioned you? And how did you deal with this?
Yeah, many people doubted. Well, I'm very familiar with this. So the strategy that I choose is that I have less in-person meeting, but I have a lot of online meetings, especially like just call, because when I call them, they wouldn't know how old I am, and they listen. They sounds like someone that is older, so that they can trust. It was tough, actually. It's really tough. Let me share a story. So
Please
the
do.
I think when I was 18, when I first started a company called Alisimba, and we tried to build a hardware solution for parents and children to help them learn financial habits. And we need to build it, right? So we talked to manufacturers in Shenzhen. Um, and and then I use that strategy. Basically, I call them. I would use phone call to call them, and then they think that this is a great deal because we want to manufacture over 10,000 units. And then they said that, hey, you actually gotta meet us in person. So I meet in person with them, and I opened the door and saw their the owners of the manufacturer shop. And then he called me, when is your father gonna arrive? I said, no, it's me. They're like, what? So yeah, it's fun, but um, that actually taught me that try it, and then until people realize that, okay, it's fun to do business with like younger generation, and they accept that, I think so.
Super motivational. And did you close that deal?
Yes. So it's
Love
funny
it.
because I did close the deal, and I spent a lot of time to drink tea with them because that's a pretty big culture, and then also like play some golf and just get involved with their activities. And I think yeah, they understand. So and also we're clients, right? We're paying them to do stuff, and I feel like yeah, it's not that hard, but it's harder when you sell something to people. So
Right. Money
yeah.
talks. So since then, you've been working on Parallel. What is that?
Mhm. Yes. Since 2021, so 10 months to ago ish, 10, 11 months ago.
And what is Parallel about?
So Parallel is a DeFi platform, and we build multiple protocols. So unlike Compound, Aave, or kind of individual-based DeFi protocols, we actually build a whole suite of interconnected and composable DeFi protocols. So that involve with the basic money markets, with liquid staking protocol, trading, and a few other mechanisms, so that the capital efficiency is super high because your capital are used through both lending, staking, and a few other stuff. So the yield is pretty high. And we also choose to build on a lot of the alternative layer one blockchain to get started. So we start with Polkadot as a niche start. And then we are going to expand toward Ethereum layer two, and then a few other I think blockchains or layer twos that would have a lot of tractions over time.
After having so much success in the venture capital space, why go back to a startup?
Because I think starting companies is and helping the world more than being an investor. You can invest 1,000 companies, and then some of them can be very successful. But ultimately, if you really want to push the boundary of innovation, and I think the most direct way is to actually start something, and then to challenge the status quo, and then push the products that really people really need faster and earlier. And then being an investor is a great way to amass, to accumulate capital and wealth. But in the end, this is just number. You can't really bring those number with you when you passed away. I think something that is important is to leave a important influence and legacy toward potentially millions of users out there or billions of users out there, that they can either change their life or they can be motivated to do something they truly love to do.
Billion is a really, really big number, but that's
Yes.
your goal, is to onboard 1 billion people into DeFi. How are you trying to do this, and what do you think is the earliest we could see 1 billion DeFi users?
So we are doing by 3 steps. First of all, we want to start with a niche market, and then and we want to dominate the niche markets. And then the second step for us is to, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So the first step is to dominate a niche market. The second step is to build applications across multiple chains. And then the third step is to actually bring to build on-ramp and off-ramp for fiat, and then try to be more compliant, and then bring retail users to be on board. So the overall idea here is to build tractions and market share first with the markets that are easier to take over. And then we actually did. We are one of the largest DeFi provider in the Polkadot space. As I said, over 200,000 users. So we're like 2 basis point away from, we're like, we still need to be like 10,000 times bigger in our user base toward 10 billion user. But then we have a lot of institutional clients that can transfer their asset when we build on ETH L2, when we build on other alternative L1s. And the number 3 is when we have enough sort of DeFi protocol and user base, then we want to build this sort of wallets and front-end layers that actually make the experience simple and to let normal people to use easily.
And did Parallel get support from the Web3 Foundation?
Yes. So we had grants from Web3 foundations.
So is it grants and dev support, or just grants from Web3 Foundation?
Grants, dev support, and then I think they had something called Separate Builder program. It's another program that supports us as well in terms of both dev and some strategy and just some internal help as well.
Very cool. And is Parallel more of a multi-chain platform or a cross-chain platform? Or at least, what is the goal of Parallel? Is it more to be multi-chain or cross-chain?
Yeah, I don't think that is contradictory, because if you think about blockchain as a country, and then there can be many cities and there can be cities interconnected. So I think for us, we care about a billion user the most. So I think if they wanted to use one of the blockchain or the other blockchain, we wanted to build awesome interface and awesome protocols for them to help them better solve their financial demands. So I think it will be both. On one hand, it will be blockchains applications or protocols across alternative layer ones. That's more of across multiple blockchains, but also as well multi-chain, what have you defined. And then we also build on top of, let's say, ETH, and there are multiple L2s and L3 and L4. And that's going to be across those smaller set of layers of blockchains. And I think that that's where the majority of the volume going to go in the next 2-3 years. And on ETH, right, L2 is eating L1, and then eventually maybe L3 is eating L2. We'll see the trend in the next few years.
That makes a lot of sense. And what's your roadmap toward decentralization look like?
So decentralization really matters to us. However, at the beginning stage, we are, we need efficiency. So I think in general, we're taking an approach where we take around half a year to sort of do R&D, and then take another half a year to gradually transition toward complete decentralization, and then let the community and then the actual token owners to run the protocol.
Very cool. And what kind of incentives do you have in place for early users on Parallel?
So early users get liquidity mining rewards by providing using the platform, providing liquidity, and then even refer to their friends. And so we have a structured program called the liquidity mining programs, and then the governance voting can decide on what how long the program is going to be, how much token to rewards, and then what type of behavior we want to incentivize. So there's no fixed amounts or fixed time frame. It really depends on how the community is going to decide.
Are you testing that out on Kusama by chance?
Yes.
Very cool.
This is actually what we are doing, testing on Kusama, and then eventually launch on Dots, and then eventually launch on like other blockchains.
Ryan, is that your last question?
Yep.
All right, Yubo, does decentralization matter to retail users?
I think it's not the top priority unless some centralized party really, really fucked up something. For example, they take the money away, freeze their accounts, stop trading for specific trading pairs or whatever. So that would actually make retail realize how important decentralization is. But if it doesn't happen, I think people care about security, liquidity, and then the return over decentralization. Decentralization, I'll say like number 3 to number 4 priority. And depends on the, if this is the peacetime or the wartime. If it's during the wartime, people might care more. about decentralization, especially in the areas that the assets are vulnerable.
Interesting. So do you see this narrative changing over, the next few months with the global events that are going on right now?
Yes, it will. So we are seeing this sort of bipolar, lizations of the global conflicts between sort of the Western versus Russia plus maybe China, maybe other countries, and so the conflict is actually accelerating, and we see that as actually a event that triggers more people realize that, first of all, decentralization actually matters, and second of all, the cryptocurrency and DeFi can be a perfect parallel financial system that people can use, while the nuclear the nuclear bomb for finance is actually happening. So Russian has been kicked out by the SWIFT system, and which actually means that the I think some group of people would actually require this mechanism, or like decentralized finance mechanism.
Yeah, I agree completely. And we also saw Ukraine use it to, crowdsource funding for their defense operation, which was, amazing to see. I'm really hoping personally that we don't see these narratives get mixed up if if Russia uses crypto and decentralized money to go around sanctions. It could be not the best narrative or
That's
thing to
not
have
the
your
best
your name.
scenario for sure.
Exactly. But nobody will pay attention to the fact that Ukraine is, raising tens of millions of dollars using it instead. I guess we'll have to see what happens, but fingers crossed. Hopefully we can figure this out and it will be somewhat net positive for the future. So, speaking about the future, Vitalik has had some thoughts. He's pessimistic on cross-chain applications long term. He thinks that there are inherent security limits to bridges.
Yeah.
Shortly after he said that, we saw the wormhole hack. What are your thoughts on this debate?
I think actually he's right. The bridge inherently is not secure. It's You're trying to connect two heterogeneous blockchain with a relatively speaking, centralized group of validators to listen to events and vote for what happens. And it's vulnerable because of the amount of asset that has been bridged versus the amount of capital that is held by the middle sort of validators. There are enough incentives to actually attack, and you can't really solve that. So what I can see is that the future blockchain might look like a group of countries that you can talk to each other, you can do cross-country travel, but it's not that easy, not that safe. But within the country, right, the communication system is relatively speaking advanced, right? So for example, within ETH, if you want to talk within two different L2s, the security measurement is actually pretty high, because worst case, you can go back to L1 and then transfer your fund to another contract and then go back to another L2. If the bridge doesn't really work that well, right? Worst case, you just waste some time, but then you are not going to lose your money. For example, Polkadot, they have this something called a cross-chain messaging protocol, XCM. So across multiple parachains, the communication and cross-chain transfer is actually more secure. But across, let's say, DOT toward Ethereum or Ethereum toward Solana, and all of that might be involved with unsolvable long-term security measurements. So I think we'll see more activities within the country that interact with each other, and then less activities in between different bridges, and sometimes even relies on some centralized parties, right? Maybe go through Coinbase. Coinbase give money to you if you trust them. So
But we see endless profile picture NFT collections out there right now. But what's one other application of NFTs that excites you for the future?
I think NFT, the most exciting two things for NFT market is one, the financialization of NFT markets, where NFT holders can be able to collateralize their NFT, get access to credit line. On the other hand, NFT holders or any ERC20 holders can pay interest and rent to rent a specific NFT that they need at a specific date of time to enjoy the usage or utility For example, you can rent NFT for gaming use case, or rent NFT for real life activities, or ticketing use case, or some economics, right? For example, royalty points or airdrop, or what have you. So having a marketplace for rent and borrow and lending will be, I think, a very exciting direction. Besides that, I think on-chain price appraisal is very important. There isn't any good oracle for the price of NFT, and inherently the price of NFTs are very subjective. It's not There aren't any source of truth. And to give you examples, a friend really want to buy an NFT really because that NFT looked like his wife. And so you got the super subjective, valuation of the NFT. And then how do you aggregate the crowd with them to give a, relatively speaking, objective pricing of that NFT can be a very interesting, I think, problem to solve. And if that's solved, I think the market will be way more efficient to deal with all of the financializations of NFT markets. And in the long term, NFT is a huge market. I think 99% of the world are, from a quantity perspective, are NFTs. They're not fungible. Your, like your phone, your water bottle, what have you, right? That's different than the other one, all of the asset. And then eventually all of them will be on-chain. So solving the on-chain appraisal pricing for the NFTs plus financialization will be a really big topic and big blue ocean opportunity for the next, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
Fascinating. Yubo, these are amazing answers. I want to keep it going. I want to toss it out to the chat. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat below. We have about 5 minutes left. But Ryan, I'm curious, do you have any questions?
Logan, I see you have one on here that's pretty interesting about Polkadot. Yubo, I'm curious to know, what do you think Polkadot's biggest roadblock is right now, to either adoption or from a technological standpoint?
I think the biggest roadblock for Polkadot will be adoptions. So every single blockchain are essentially competing for application developers, and then the application developers have limited bandwidth of what type of blockchain and language they have to learn, and what type of application they can build to serve customer demand. So the more people develop on a specific blockchain, the higher network effect and higher value per developer per blockchain gonna go. And so Polkadot, I think, would want to attract more developers and better, I guess, the enterprise to build on top, and to actually build this sort of better network effect. Because the whole premise of Polkadot is that you can connect with different parachains to talk to each other, and to also help any company to launch, or anyone to launch a blockchain without running validators, without going through the complicated process of getting consensus. So the technologies are great, but at the same time, the amount of developers, amount of application that I have seen is a lot less than what happened on the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's also not about the quantity, it's about the quality of talented developers and very prominent enterprise to build unique applications that can be only enabled by Polkadot. Then copy what happened on other blockchains like ETH, and that could inherently attract more developers to build on top. And so education is needed, better sort of ecosystem programs, network supports, and a few other stuff is actually in need to really grow the ecosystem.
So do you think only having 100 parachains is limiting for Polkadot, since they need more developers?
Yeah, so there is some technical barrier, because each blockchain is a shard. There are actually inherent limitations of how many shards a blockchain can theoretically validate, right? Because the validation process is taken over by the relay chain. And I think 100 parachain might be enough if each of the blockchain, if the parachain can build its own smaller set of ecosystem, where the ecosystem itself can attract additional developers to build on top. For example, Parallel is a application-focused parachain. However, in the long term, we are able to open up the development resources and the capability to let other people to run arbitrary applications on our chain, so that we can build a subset of ecosystem on top. So I think, with that being said, 100 parachains should be enough if the quality of those parachains are high. If you just sort of copy a bunch of what have you on the other chains, then I think it's not gonna really provide like additional value or externalities toward other parachains.
Awesome, Yubo. This has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. To everybody out there who is curious about Parallel and the things you're working on, I've dropped the links to all of that in the chat. But Yubo, if you could briefly say, why should somebody go check out Parallel? What would you say to that?
I think because Parallel is trying to bring DeFi and Web3 to 1 billion people, and you might be that 1 billion people to use our products. So check it out, or maybe join us.
Awesome. I know you're hiring as well. So all of that can be found in the chat below. I wish we had more time, but we have about 30 seconds left. We'll get to this one chat question. What blockchain do you believe has the most usability and scalability?
The most usability and scalability. I think I like, honestly, I like all of the blockchains. And I would say that take a look at a lot of the layer 2s. It has similar usability as Ethereum layer 1. You can share the similar tool base, but at the same time, it's super scalable. I would say a lot of the L2s are, relatively speaking, centralized. The sequencers are run by a party, but in the long term, they will be decentralized. So if you trade off the centralization, decentralization to optimize for usability and scalability, I would say L2 can be a really good choice.
Beautiful. So much to unpack and think about. We'd love to have you back on again, but that's all we have time for today. So thank you so much. Great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, Ryan, that was incredible. One of the best interviews we've had in a long time. I'm going to have to go back and watch it right away. Is there anything you want to mention or say, closing thoughts on this Mutant Monday afternoon?
Nah, I think we covered everything, Logan. That was a super exciting interview, and he likes college dropouts, so I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I already DM'd him. I said, let's stay in touch. I'm a young dropout with a couple businesses. But yeah, thank you everybody who tuned in today. Loved the jokes in the comments earlier and the support for the project at the end. Great episode. Love you all, Zinger Nation. That is all we have time for. So stay tuned for pre-market prep. At the close, you'll be redirected automatically. So don't touch anything except for the like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, what are you waiting for? Do it right now. Do it well. Do it right before it's redirecting. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, smash the like button. 2, smash the like button. 1, see you guys later.